Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be going through and ranking the top 10 best shooting guards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it and let's see what we're looking at for this top 10 today. We got a good list, I feel like, of some of the best shooting guards in my team. This position is really deep, I will say. There's several good shooting guards that didn't even make the list, but was pretty impressed by the depth of the shooting guard position at this point. We'll start with number 10, who is Kawhi Butler, and I think a very, very solid card. A guy who kind of can do everything at the shooting guard position at a pretty high level. He's 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan, a money jumper, elite shooter, solid all-around defender. He's got decent slashing. Like, he's a good all-around card. No significant flaws on Kawhi Butler. Even has a little bit of movement, I think, as well. Definitely a fan of Kawhi Butler as a card. I think he 100% does deserve to be considered in this top tier of the shooting guard position. I mean, he's a top 10 guy. I really think so. His jumper's so elite that he's such a solid all-around card. I have no problems whatsoever with Kawhi Butler as a top 10 shooting guard in my team, with how good his jumper is and with how solid he is in every other area. Number 9, going to be Pink Diamond Paul George, another guy who's a competitive level card still. He just doesn't have a top tier movement, but the stats and badges are incredible. He's still super fast, elite shooter, elite slasher, and versatile defender. A lot of good hoffs. Like, certainly a top tier option still, no doubt about that in my mind at all. I just think realistically there's a lot of good cards. It's another one of those where, like, is he bad at all? No. Does he have any significant flaws? In my opinion, no. Is he a higher than top 9? I don't really think so. There's just so many elite shooting guards that have dropped recently. Maybe you could argue a couple spots higher because the defense, if you wanted to, the size and the defense. And I get that if that's an argument you want to make. He's got a good jumper. He just doesn't have top tier movement, although his escape's pretty good. And there's a lot of good shooting guards. So again, I think 9 is probably the right spot for him. Number 8's Clyde Drexler. If you wanted to argue PG over Clyde, I wouldn't blame you. Clyde's not quite as good defensively. Half challenger, off has non-ball menace and pogo stick still. Got great speed. 3-ball isn't also as high as Paul's, but he does have a, he's just as good, if not better, of a slasher. His jumper's just as good. Dribble style and escape, I think overall make him move a little bit better. He's got Pro 2 fade, which Paul George does not have. If you wanted to make the argument that Paul George is better than Clyde Drexler because the defense, I wouldn't blame you. I just think Clyde's movement is the reason for me that I give him the slight edge. I feel like these are very interchangeable cards, though, and it'd be totally fair to put Paul George as the higher tier card if you wanted to. Moving on to number 7, that's going to be Vince Carter, who honestly pretty similar boat. Does have a better fade than PG, similar jumper, similar speed, shooting, and slashing, not quite as good defensively, but better movement in my opinion with the Cope. Well, I mean, he's moving similar, but he's got a better fade. He's got a similar release. Again, if you wanted to change the order on these 3 cards, Vince, Clyde, and PG, you can do that. I'm leaning towards the offense and the movement just a little bit in my ranking. Vince doesn't even quite have the defense of the other 2, but his athleticism is so good. I really like his jumper. I love his fade. I feel like he moves really well. He's very solid all the way around. Just like a card I've really enjoyed all year. But again, those 3 guys are super close and I think very interchangeable if you want them to be. So I don't know. It's definitely opinion based with those 3 cards, but they're both, I think, they're all 3 of them are in the right spot, even if you don't totally agree with the order. Number 6, Ron Artest. This card is, I do believe, better than all 3 of these other guys because he has that elite level defense with the elite level fade. He's best defensive card of anybody we've ranked on this list yet, not to mention he's got a 90 driving dunk. Very, very smooth jump shot. That Rudy Gay jumper is just elite as always. Movement's not bad, and his fade is top tier as well. I feel like he's the best card yet because he's the best combination of movement, defense, and fade, plus elite jump shot. So I just think he gets a slight edge, not by a huge amount, but to me, I think he's the best of all of the shooting guards we've looked at yet because of that elite level defensive versatility and the offensive completeness. So really a big fan of Ron Artest. I still use him actually at small forward, so he can play small forward as well at a high level. I think he's a very, very good card. People are not going to be happy about this one. For whatever reason, people are so defensive of Michael Jordan. He's not that good in 2K. He's top 5. I have no issues with the card. I just don't think he's any higher than 5th. I mean, 6'6", 6'11" wingspan, amazing stats. Let's not get it twisted. He might have the best stats and badges of any shooting guard in the game. His jumper's not elite, though. D-book dribble style, Kemba escape, that'll get the job done. I mean, that movement's not bad. He's an elite level slasher. Like, I'm not sitting here acting like he's a bad card at all. But even on very quick, I have a hard time with the argument that MJ is any higher than the 5th best shooting guard in the game. And that may seem very critical of me, but I look, I like the card. I don't love the card because the jump shot could be so much better, in my personal opinion anyway. So again, it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me if you don't want to. But for me personally, I do believe that MJ is only the 5th best shooting guard in my team. Number 4 is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi provides just as much defense as MJ, if not a little bit more, because he's 6'7" with a longer wingspan. Not to mention, I mean, is he significantly worse than MJ as a slasher? Maybe not. I don't think hugely. I think he might be a little worse, but I don't think he's like way worse to where it's not like he's not even close. He can't even compete. I wouldn't say that at all. I look at this MJ card and or this Kawhi card. He's got a really good behind the back with Kawhi's behind the back. I mean, his own behind the back is one of the best behind the backs in the game. He's absolutely incredible defensively, super complete. His batters are really good all the way around. Jumper is very similar to MJ's. And I mean, I don't think MJ moves that much better considering Dame Escape, Kawhi behind the back are good. Normal dribble style isn't as good as Devin Booker, but overall, he's bigger than MJ. I think he plays a little bit better defensively. He's got a better behind the back. I mean, fade is just as good. I wouldn't say MJ's fade is elite. I wouldn't say Kawhi's fade is super elite either. I think they're about the same level of card. I'm going with the size and the guy with, I think, better defensive animations. That's Kawhi. He's got the better behind the back as well. Like, in my opinion, Kawhi's a little bit better card. I have no issues at all with him at number 4. Number 3 is going to be Franz Wagner. I messed that up there. But Franz is, again, he's what? 6'10", 7'1" wingspan. So he's got the best size of any shooting guard in this list. Not to mention, I mean, the Hoff badges defensively aren't there, but offensively they are. He's got an elite jumper and elite movement. So when you look at that aspect of the card, I wouldn't say there's anybody any better than Franz at the shooting guard position in terms of the size, shot, and movement combination. But he's not quite as elite defensively. His jumper does tend to get some load up sometimes, which can be annoying. I will agree with that. So again, he's not a perfect card, but he is a very good one. And I have no issues whatsoever with him as, in my opinion anyway, arguably, I mean, I think you could argue him higher than this if you wanted to, especially because he's 6'10". Me personally, I would only put him at number 3 just because the top 2 guys I think are a little bit better overall, a little more complete. But again, Franz is absolutely elite, and I mean, he's a top tier option. There's no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. He moves great. He's got the size. He's got the jumper. Like, this is one of the best free cards in my team. It's one of the things 2K actually executed on best this season, was having at least a couple of really good free cards. Franz Wagner is absolutely right at the top of that list, and I have no issues whatsoever with him as a top tier option. So again, he, to me at least, is number 3 on this list. At number 2, we got Bernard King, who I do believe is a little bit better than Franz. He's just a little more complete. His jumper's also awesome. He's also got that top tier elite movement ability. 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, 93 speed and agility, 85 3-ball, 95 driving dunk, 84 interior, 89 perimeter, 84 steal. Finishing wise, very good. He doesn't have quite as many hoffs as the one criticism I would make of the card, but stats are really good. Release is amazing. PJ Tucker's jumper is one of the best in the game, and I feel like it doesn't quite get the load ups as well as Franz's shot does. He's just really good all the way around. One of those guys who it's hard to criticize because his jumper's so good. He's got such solid movement, pro dribble style, especially that Curry escape. Curry escape is literally just one of the best moves in all of my team. For any card in any type of SIG, it's just one of the best moves. And you combine that with an unbelievably elite release, an exceptional slasher, an incredible jump shot. Like, he's definitely, to me, number 2, but I can't put him at number 1. Some people would make the argument for Bernard at number 1. Number 1, he's super rare. That's my first thing that holds me back from making that ranking for him, just because he is as rare as he is. And I think that is a decently valid complaint. Like, I wouldn't say that. I think he might be a little bit not a little bit. He's very unobtainable, and that might matter too in the ranking. But to me, I also just think Dr. J is a little bit better as an overall card. Like, you could certainly make the argument for Bernard if you wanted to, but Dr. J has the elite jump shot. He's got the top tier movement. He's got especially the elite behind the back as well, which is something that Bernard doesn't quite have. But he's such an elite slasher. He's also an incredible shooter with a great release. He's also got top tier movement. And honestly, he's a little bit better defensively than Bernard is as well. So to me, overall, they're very good cards, both of them. I think they're pretty similar, but I personally would give the edge to Dr. J because, again, I think the movement might be is as good, even without, like, I mean, Katie's escape is very good. Normal dribble style isn't great. Outside of normal dribble style, though, there is a lot to like about the card still, because he does have a top tier behind the back, very good escape, and he also has Pro 2 fade as well, or best fade in the game, which I think is really important as well. So I think overall, a top tier card without a shadow of a doubt, and I have no issues whatsoever with Dr. J as the best shooting guard in the game still. Bernard's good. He's close, but he's not quite Dr. J level, in my opinion. With that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.